Oh, welcome back to Owl's Walk. This week we're asking the question, are the players still playing for Danny? They haven't been paid and now the manager is rumoured to be off. Would you still play? We're asking Matt and Tom their views on it. Also, just what's going on wrong at Hillsborough. 5 in a row now. It's unprecedented. And we're choosing our player of the season with, of course, our regular panellists, Matt and Tom. Thank you very much for watching. It's nearly over, fellas. We can nearly put you out your misery. Ask you to go on a little break talking about Wednesday. How are you both? Are you just resigned now to this? Just get the season over with.
Go on, Tom. Yeah. You can take that one, Tom.
Yeah. I think me and Matt have cancelled the hotel at Wembley, but we're I think I just want the season to end. And then Chansiri releasing statements. We're just conceding late goals. Yeah, it's not a great end to the season.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. 4 to go. We'll have a look at those games in a second and just what can be achieved and what do we want to see in those 4 games. A home win would be good, wouldn't it, Matt? Just let's start with that Oxford game. What went wrong there?
Same as we've been saying all season, Mark. This is really boring. Can't take your chances, have loads of them, and then get caught with one opportunity. He's just rinse and repeat from all season. It's consistent, I will say that, Mark. But yeah, it's the side weren't appalling on the day. Again, if you're just looking and going off the statistics, we looked okay. It's no different to the games when we were playing really well and winning around November and December. Aside from the fact that players were being paid consistently then, but yeah, there's no real difference. It's just, we're not taking chances. We haven't done all season, and we can't keep the ball out the back of the net. It's a bit of a recipe for disaster, to be perfectly honest with you, Mark. I know we sat and joked on here, I think it was when Glyn was on, and we sat and joked around, and Glyn was saying, I'm still optimistic about a shout for playoffs, and both, I think myself and Tom were a little bit more, I'd pump the brakes on it type of thing. This is why. And I think it is also important to recognise, Mark, like, this squad have overperformed for the last 16 months. It was inevitable at some point, due to player ages, squad ages, and all the rest of it, that there was going to be a tail off the minute that the pressure came off, because this is the first time in 4 years there's not actually been anything on an end of season for Sheffield Wednesday. 4 years ago, we were playing we were losing to Sunderland in a playoff final. We then had the miracle of Hillsborough. Last season, obviously, we survived on the last day, and now it's the first time that we'll be fine on the last day of the season. So yeah, I can understand why there has been a bit of a dip.
Right, cheers for that, Matt. Let's go through some trains of thought then that we're seeing on social media. First of all, Tom, the magic 50 points is apparently the reason that the players have gone off the pace a little bit. They've got to 50 points. They know they're safe. They know they're not going up. So psychologically, why would you try? Any truth in that?
I think a bit. I think also, them not being paid makes a bit of sense. The fact that a lot of them might be leaving at the end of the season along with the manager. Why would you kind of try to get yourself injured? I think the playoffs are out of it. But I think a lot of it does come down to they've been overperforming. I don't think they're actually, of the level. And you can see when we make a few substitutions, we always end up conceding. So, I think we've just found our level, and then they're just kind of on the beach at the moment.
Okay. Somewhat controversially then, Matt. So obviously you're in work. If you hadn't been paid on time and your immediate boss was being rumoured to be going off here, there and everywhere in a month's time, would you naturally find your own work rate going down, do you think?
I don't think I'd be there, Mark, is the honest answer, if I wasn't paid. Yes, I would. I'm not gonna sit here and try and pretend no. Of course I would. I know several ex-footballers will come out and talk about the fact that, I do think football is a different beast when you're talking about that, because my level of work and how much I try and put in is slightly different in terms of the effort levels. I don't think you can kind of like go through the motions playing football, if that makes sense. Like, it's a game of football. Ultimately, everybody gets roped in sooner or later, whether that's a kickabout in the park or whether it's in front of 24,000 at Hillsborough against Oxford. But yeah, I think I agree with Tom. I think it's a combination of factors, but the instability off the pitch and surrounding we've got 4 games left, as it says just underneath your name, Mark. We've got 4 games left, and then the world is about to shift at Sheffield Wednesday, and it's about to be launched off a cliff again. And it's just, I think there's a lot of players we've got 12 out of contract players, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're one of them, think we're probably only looking to really realistically probably re-sign maybe 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, I can understand why players perhaps are going through the motions a little bit rather than phoning it in. I think going through the motions.
Cheers for that, both of you. There was a tweet here. I daren't kind of show it because I'm around you, but Paul says, Danny, your performance is as bad as the players. They have stopped playing for you. They should be ashamed of themselves for the last 3 games. If you can't motivate them, you should go now and not wait until the end of the season. No, you will all, I'm sure, find that ridiculous. But Tom, do you understand where that comes from?
Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from just from the recent performances, but I think we'd also most likely get a bit of money for Danny going at the end of the season rather than him, walking. So I'd rather keep that. But yeah, it's funny how the kind of narratives change, because I think a few weeks ago on Twitter I was getting a lot of abuse saying next season we could be down there, and then Chansiri doesn't pay the players, and then they're all deleting tweets. So I think people are realizing that next season isn't going to be easy. And I think Danny's just staying to the end of the season when he's going to go off to Leipzig, Southampton. Take your pick.
Yeah. I mean, last week I was ill. We couldn't record, so we weren't able to get your reactions to it. But both of you put out some very strong tweets about what happened with Chansiri paying it. Matt, in particular, I mean, I think you, to paraphrase what you said, in any other walk of life, this would be unacceptable. But for Chansiri, it seems to be okay. I mean, this is the final straw for him, surely, isn't it? In terms of the powers that be, some sort of rebellion against him. I mean, how many times can this happen before something gets done about it?
I think it's a perfect storm at the minute at Sheffield Wednesday, because for the first time in his 10-year reign, we've got a united fan base where the majority, and it is a vast majority now, supporters groups have come out in terms of backing the statement surrounding sort of wanting the chairman to go and sell the club. We're not just talking about looking for answers, because supporters groups put out a statement. They then amended that statement later in the week where they were kind of doubling down on the fact of it went from we'd like answers to, oh no, now we'd like him to step away and leave the football club. Because as me and Tom were saying just before recording, Mark, we were saying there's just so much happens. It's every 30 minutes, every hour, there's always some sort of breaking news that's coming out of the football club. I think you've got that, so that mounting fan pressure that is there. We're now seeing active protests at Hillsborough, which are receiving majority backing from fans. There was a Turn Your Back on Chansiri protest on the weekend, which was well observed by, to put a percentage on it, 80% of the fans who were in attendance. Your next one is obviously the EFL football regulator, who is coming in the summer. And Chansiri has already waved the white flag there, saying, I can't pay players, and I can't pay players unless people owe money to me. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, under the new football regulator, you have to provide a 12-month business plan of where your funding is coming from and how that is going to come in. Prior to that, Chansiri's already signalled, I can't do this without external funding. So there's another one. Your third one is obviously with what's going on at Reading at the minute. The EFL do not want another Reading on their hands, because Reading the EFL should have stepped in at Reading much, much earlier. They didn't. Look at the mess that they're in now. And the last one is, I think the most saving grace of all of this, is the MP who has been very vehemently pushing forward the EFL football regulator. Guess where Hillsborough falls? His constituency. So he is also very, very kind of proactive and supportive in kind of like that we're firmly on the radar. I personally think that there's a window here where Chansiri can get out on his own terms. Do I think he will? No. I think we saw that with the recently released statement over the weekend, where Chansiri again timed that statement. In my opinion, Chansiri timed the statement to coincide with the organised fan protests to try and squash or quell any of the rumours. This time it just did nothing. Because sadly, when you talk as much as he has and have blamed the fans as much as he has over the previous 10 years, saying things like we and us and it's our club, it doesn't mean anything anymore. You can't play fast and loose with the truth for 10 years and then all of a sudden call it on when it suits. It doesn't wash. So, yeah. Do I think this is the end, Mark? No, I still think, 18 months down the line, I think it will be a bit more of a struggle. But I do think there is a window of opportunity here for prospective interested parties. We've heard some credible local journalists coming out with interested parties over the past 12 hours as well. There's a window of opportunity for everybody to get it done. It all to be as amicable as possible. Do I think that's how it's going to end? Absolutely not.
It's like a soap opera, isn't it? But not a very funny one, and none that you'd want to watch every week. Cheers for updating us, Matt. And look, you all know how we feel about Sheffield Wednesday here. Massive club, and needs to be up there, doesn't it? And not treated like this. Let's get back to footballing matters, though, Tom, if we may, just for a sec. 4 games left. We have to put you through this, I'm afraid. So now you've got. You might have nothing to play for yourself, but you are kingmakers for some teams here. Stoke City's biggest game of the season, they call this one, on Friday. Beat you, and they are safe. Lose to you, or take a point whilst others are playing around you, and they are smack bang in trouble again. And Middlesbrough need a win against you to get into the playoffs. Portsmouth have got their eye on this game as well to secure their safety. And then Watford want a joint protest with you against the Pozzos and Chansiri on the last day. So you might have nothing to play for, but everybody else you're playing for has got some sort of point to prove. Tom, do you care? And what do you want to see out of these last 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, just to kind of see some decent football, which I think is asking for a bit too much at the moment. So, yeah, I could see Watford being a draw just because both of us are just protesting. No one really cares. It'll end up being that, yeah, we'll lose the others. And then maybe Stoke, we might get a win just because they're, a banter club a bit like us and they always end up losing. So that might be the one where we get a win. But, yeah, I don't think we're going to get many points till the end of the season.
I mean, away from home, you're actually decent, aren't you, Matt? Let's be fair.
You say that, Mark. Yeah, statistically over the course of the season, but we've won 5 of the last 19 games to put it into perspective. So I'll be honest with you, if we get 3 points, I'll be amazed.
Matt, do you want any young players you want to see in particular?
Caelan Cole Cadamartri, 15-year-old in the academy. Yeah, chuck him on. Yeah, that's been a source of nonsense that's going around the Sheffield Wednesday fan base. Yeah, chuck a lad who's in year 10 currently in against Stoke away and see how he gets on down there. I'd like to see some more football from Charlie McNeil, who we brought in at the start of the season. There was a lot of excitement around him. He hasn't made the grade for whatever reason this season. I'd like to see some more football from him. I'd quite like to see Ike Ugbo just given the last 4 games. And literally it does not matter what happens in these 4 games. Try and get a goal. Try and get a goal, because no matter whether it's away or whether it's at Hillsborough, wherever it is, we could be 4-1 down, Mark, and I am convinced whatever stadium we are in, the entire thing will explode if he scores. Aside from that, I mean, Pierce Charles has come in for the last handful of games. Yes, he's conceded goals. That's not on him. It's on the defenders who are in front of him. You can maybe level 1 goal. That's his fault against Blackburn, the second one, but you should stop the cross before it comes in. He's been excellent. He is not the reason, the same way James Beadle has not been the reason why we've been chucking away goals. It's the players in front of him who aren't protecting them.
Okay. Well, we need to ask you for your player of the season before we finish this particular episode, given that the club are busy sorting that out. So, Tom, as difficult as this might be, consistently for you from August onwards, where you smashed Plymouth to the defeat to Oxford, who gets your player of the season?
Yeah, I think, it's got to be probably Shea Charles for me, just for 90% of the season. I think he's fallen off a little bit, but we've run him into the ground, really. He's also playing internationally. But you can tell he's a £20 million midfielder. And, he'll probably be with Danny Rohl at Southampton next season against us, which will, while we're down there with, Bannon still running around. But,
Matt?
Yeah, the sensible answer is it's Shea Charles, and that's the sensible answer because it's the truth. Notable mentions for Max Lowe, who has been exceptional in playing out of position for the majority of his game time at Sheffield Wednesday at centre-half. When we signed him as a left-back, looks really, really good. Jedi Gassama is turning into a hell of a player. Could comfortably in 6 months' time be worth 14 million quid. Shame he's out of contracts at the end of next season. And again, you can't not mention Josh Windass, 17 goals and assists over the course of the season. Do I think his performances have warranted more than that? Yes, he should be on 17 goals alone. He's missed an awful lot of chances this season. But without his goals, without his assists, we would be further down and probably in and around that relegation scrap. I've got all of those players deserve a mention.
Okay. Just a little Jamie Vardy question, just to throw in randomly. So obviously he's going to be relegated with Leicester. He has hinted in the past, we believe, that he would, at least before he retires, to play for his boyhood club. Would you take him for a year?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I would, but I mean, I don't think he'd come, seeing as I don't know what wages he'd be on, but Chansiri ain't paying that. I mean, he's also got his Chansiri's got that tax bill coming up as well, which I'm worried about. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, we might not even be a club by the time he wants to get involved. But yeah, I'd love him just for even if he's cropped just for one season, get the shirt. Yeah.
Okay, Matt.
I'd love him, but unless he's going to pay subs, I don't see it.
Okay, right, fair enough. Finally, this week, we're asking for the Championship Player of the Season. You're not allowed to choose a Wednesday player. You can choose any other player that has impressed you as an opposition player, either at Hillsborough or as an away fan that you've seen live. So, Tom, who has scared the bejesus out of you when you've watched him and deserves this accolade?
Well, I think when we watched them, it was probably that Bale for Watford who scored about 4 or 5 goals. And then he didn't score, I think, in 18 before that, and hasn't scored in like 18
he's
after
been awful.
Or something. Yeah. But he was like a prime R9 against us, which says it all. Okay. But yeah, probably him on a one-game thing.
Matt.
I think the best player I've seen this season is Trey Hume at Sunderland. Outstanding talent, outstanding footballer, Premier League ready. He's not obviously the most flash player in the division. I'm sure a lot of people will mention kind of like Borja Sainz. I could probably have said, I know Middlesbrough's form has been very, very patchy, but I'm a huge fan of Finn Azaz. Like a really, really big fan of Finn Azaz and kind of the work that he does in the first half away at Middlesbrough. He took us apart, like in that 10 floating role. I can't mention a Leeds player. Sadly, but they've got a couple of good players. Let's put it that way. I think the other one that I would like to mention as well, James Trafford. James Trafford has gone for an unbelievable clean sheet record, and I know the defenders are in front of him, but honestly, when we played Burnley away, he made, I think, 3 or 4 saves where I thought, oh, it's just hit him, it's lucky. He did it for, 20, 21 games consecutively?
Yeah.
It's not just luck at that point. Yeah. He's a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Trey Hume for me, Mark.
Brilliant. Good shout. So Sunderland actually gave Trey Hume their player of the season above Job and above Chris Rigg. So yeah, good shouts.
Did anyone say any Wednesday players or?
Not yet.
Not
Who knows? No. I haven't had any United players either. And it's there where we're wanting to finish. I can't let you go without asking you how much you're enjoying the heads gone across the road.
Go, Tom.
If
you've got something, I've got loads on this.
Yeah. I mean, Wilder's known for keeping his head after a win or loss, isn't he? So I think he's, I mean, it is great where there was that clip of where he's going, Plymouth are bottom of the league for a reason, and then he's giving it to their fans and players in the tunnel. It's like you just can't take it when he's losing. But I think whether they go up or stay down, they're going to have a bit of money. But if they go up, he's going to get sacked. So they're not going to win any games. If they stay next season, they'll still be a decent team in the Championship. But it is just funny watching them bottle the automatics at least.
Yeah, well, if you stand on a chair singing about Wednesday, you're gonna have to take it when you fall.
Do you know what, Mark? Like, we sat on here, me and Tom and you, and said that at the time, this is the reason why every club aside from Sheffield United cannot stand Chris Wilder, because when it's not going his way, I think he accused Plymouth fans, players, coaching staff as like behaving like they'd won the World Cup or survived or something like that on Saturday. This is a side who have been terrible all year, and they've just beat now third in the league. What are they, 5 points off it? Yep. 5 points off second? It's unfortunate that. If you've stood on a chair, ranted and raved, gone on a 25-minute rant about kind of how the season's done, all the rest of it, that may well have been the case for Sheffield Wednesday. I didn't realise it was the case for Sheffield United as well, that his season finished in March. Like, yeah, it's, again, saying all this, they'll probably go up through the playoffs, Mark. But yeah, while we're here, it's fun to laugh at them.
What comes around goes around, doesn't it? Absolutely. Right. Thank you very much, you two, for that. Only 3 more left of these. So you know what to do. Press subscribe. Do drop us a like as well as you have been doing throughout the season. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the other side of this bumper Easter weekend. Come on, Ugbo. Get us a goal.